just a bloke in a bar.
What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to an episode of Bloke in a Bar, brought to you by Grumpy Coffee, the best coffee in all the land. Go to grumpycoffee.com.au. We've got multiple blends. We've got the everyday, we've got the very grumpy, we've got pods, we've got whole, we've got ground, we've got it all. And a cupping rating of about 85. And in a blend, that is essentially as good as you can get, guys. So make sure to go to grumpycoffee.com.au. But very excited today. Got the big fella Thomas Jenkins on the show. How you going, brother?
Good, man. Thanks for having me.
Now, do you get called Thomas often, or is it Tom?
Very rarely. I actually got called Thomas down the street the other day. It was just randomly, and I was like, oh. But to be fair, everyone usually just calls me Milk. And
Milk?
I think even some of the boys wouldn't even know my first name.
Really? Yeah. It's funny, actually. I was ran into one of my mates the other day, and when he called me Denon. And then when I saw him in person, he was like, fuck, that felt weird to call you Denon instead of like Beak or Kempy or whatever. Mate, how you been? What a year.
Crazy year, man. Yeah, something that obviously pretty unexpected and not one that I would have predicted or thought that was possible, but it sort of all worked out. In saying that, it's something that the dominoes have fallen my way in a big way this year, which I'm grateful for and lucky for. And
so, like, I guess it's one thing to be able to revive your career at any NRL club. Like, I'm sure you were at a certain point where you were just like, listen, I'll just play NRL for anyone. But to do it at essentially the greatest team of all time, like, that's crazy.
Yeah, it is pretty cool. Obviously, leaving Newcastle, I left Penrith and like they were just flying at that time, and I didn't want to leave, and it took a few tough conversations with Ivan. Obviously, I think that was probably one of the things that I look back on now, and I'm grateful for, in the sense of I probably, as a young kid, I wasn't ready to leave, and I will openly say I was happy to stay there on a shitty contract. But he actually pulled me aside and said, like, you need to take an opportunity if it comes, and you need to leave. And there was a couple of different contracts, and there was a bit of miscommunication, and I was pretty close to signing somewhere else. And but I ended up turning it down without a contract on the table for Penrith, just in the hopes that I could stay.
Yeah, okay.
And then that next week, that's when I think he understood that I wasn't going to leave, but I needed to leave. And he sat me down and said, you need to take the opportunity that comes, because there isn't one here for you next year. And, which was, like, obviously devastating. You don't want to hear that stuff. You're not wanted at a club. But then leaving obviously ends up being the best decision. Something that I definitely needed for my career. And then a lot of lessons, a lot of understandings, a lot of different things I learned along the way. But to come back now and sort of it works out like this, it's actually sick.
Yeah, absolutely. It's probably, you know, this might sound a bit dramatic or whatever, but at least for me, I'll say it for me, it's almost like your first heartbreak. Now, I was always fortunate to be offered a contract at the Broncos, but, like, you know, they were minimum or whatever. And as a young fella, you've got this naive sense of, like, you know, your first club, they're your brothers till the death. Like, you're in that mindset of, like, I am here forever, and I'll take pay cuts. I'll do whatever it takes to wear that jersey week in, week out. And then when you're told that news, whether it's, oh, sorry, we can only offer you a minimum, or there's no contract for you, it doesn't disillusion you, but it's that first heartbreak of, like, oh, doesn't work out as perfectly as you kind of planned it to, kind of thing. Yeah,
definitely. I think, like I said, going into his office, it's a pretty big thing. Young kid, getting told basically, like, you're not wanted. At that time, I was like, what am I going to do? When I first come down to Penrith, I honestly didn't. I thought I'd hate it. I turned the offer down, and that was the only NRL club that was willing to take a chance on me, which was cool. And I turned it down simply because I had heard all bad things about Penrith, but I have a house there now. I love it there. I love the community. I love the people. And I think that's what is such a cool thing about Penrith, is they always get behind the boys. And I think the boys appreciate that as well. So
it's mate, it's a sick what they've managed to do there, and the impact that it's had of that area. Like, because you're right, like 10 years ago, maybe even less, like I'll say 6-7 years ago, there was the stigma of, like, oh, out west, like it was very much like people just talk shit about the West. Now it's like cool to be from the West. Like you say, oh, I'm from Penrith. Immediately people shoulders are a bit back more. They're standing up a bit straighter. And I think that's sick that a league team, plus other things have gone on, but a league team can kind of instill that confidence in where you're from, kind of thing.
Yeah, massively. Like I'll never ever sit here and like I can proudly say, like I say, I live in Penrith, and I'll say it happily, knowing that like that's where I'm not from there. I'm obviously from the country, but that's where I live and that's where I love. Like, I love Penrith as a whole and what it has to bring. And I think it's actually pretty underrated, man. Like there's actually a lot of stuff to do out there.
Mate,
it's so close to the city.
Mate, and they've got the airport, I think, coming out in the next few years, which will just change everything. Now, like, so walk us through that situation, because you debuted that year, didn't you? That they told you that there wasn't a contract for you next year?
So I debuted last round of
22?
22.
Yep.
I was against Cowboys, and then I had the year after that, and that was my final year at Penrith.
So you'd played. I guess the tough thing to swallow would be this: is like you'd played 6 games as a rookie. Usually, if you're making your debut and playing a few games, there's at least a contract on the table because you're playing NRL. I'm assuming, at least in my head, that's the way I used to think about things. Like, if I'm playing first grade, there's going to be something on the table. It might be not much, but I'm playing first grade and I'm only 20 years old. Like, that's pretty good. That's pretty good. What was it like for you?
Yeah, it was obviously, I look back now and I think, I couldn't understand it at the time. I essentially was next man up in that situation, but I know they had, obviously, Jesse McLean, Casey McLean coming through. Had Tiny at the time, Tito, and then you got Bizza. Like look at them now. Like they're all guns. So, and I can see it so much clearer now from a club's point of view of at that time, my ceiling didn't look as high. I wasn't someone that was knocking down the door every week, and I wasn't training as hard or trying to get better as much as I should have been. I probably took it, I wouldn't say I took it for granted, because I loved every minute there, and I tried to get better. But I just think they seen it in a different light. And Ivan was good. He said, I think you can play NRL. I just think you need to chase an opportunity somewhere else, because it won't be here. Mine was sort of blocked by Tito, Tiny at the time.
Pretty good players.
Bizarre. And then obviously Casey hadn't come through yet, but Jesse was coming through. So they sort of need to open doors for opportunities for others. And
and I will say, like, the other part of all of it is like you are at a club that's winning premiership after premiership after premiership. Like, the people they've got coming through, they may reach their heights, they may not reach their heights. However, the hype around them is, second to none almost. So, like, at most other clubs, you probably would have been offered probably a 2 or 3 year deal, but because you're at this club, because I remember being at the Broncos, and honestly, like, it was the talent that they had access to, especially early 2000s, was like they got to choose the best of the best from wherever. And like Penrith are almost, they're in that situation right now, where if you're a young kid and Penrith come knocking on your door, it's like, tell me where to go, I'm going to sign this. So there's also that part of it. Okay, so when he does say to you, can you say the other team that you were potentially going to go to?
Yeah.
That you didn't?
Yeah. So I was just in talks with the Cowboys. I had a meeting, sat down with them. So good. I had a brief meeting with Bulldogs, but that was sort of didn't eventuate into anything. But the Cowboys, like they were super keen, and it was such a good opportunity to go up there. But at the time, it just didn't suit me. Simply at that time, I was too young.
It's a big move.
Moving away. I look now and I think, well, did I make the wrong decision? But I think you make decisions for a reason. And I just, like Cowboys were so good when they did come to me, and I met with them at a cafe when they were about to play a game. Like, they took their time out of their week and stuff to come see me. And that was such a cool opportunity. I was just sitting on a Penrith deal, waiting for it to come. I would have gone. I would have gone to Cowboys essentially if I don't know how I would explain it. If I had have looked back, I maybe would have gone to Cowboys, and maybe not. It was just such a big move. But then when Newcastle obviously came to the table, I had a bit clearer of an understanding with Penrith, where I was sitting with them.
Okay, yep. Was when Cowboys came to the table, are you assuming that there might be a contract there for you at Penrith? So you're kind of like holding out to a degree? Yeah,
so I was holding out to a degree, thinking I know there was sort of a contract in talks. And then there was a bit of a miscommunication, and you never know, obviously, what's what and anything until it's on the table. But I think there was a miscommunication in the thoughts that I'd signed with Cowboys, so Penrith were like happy, grateful.
Okay.
And I'd sat down with Ivan, and he'd said, "Congratulations, like you need to," and I'd said, "I actually haven't signed it." And he said, that's when he's told me, "Look, I think you need to take an opportunity if it comes." Blah blah.
Yeah,
and then Newcastle come along. They were really good. They said a lot of good things, promised a lot of good things. But yeah, so I signed there, and I was so excited to go up there and take that opportunity and do my own thing. But as you can see, it didn't work out, and it wasn't a thing where Newcastle done this to me and it's their fault. And it was a mutual thing on both ends. I think I was told that this is yours, this is this.
Yeah.
When looking back now, footy's, you're never guaranteed anything in footy. Your spot's never cemented. Nothing.
Yeah.
And I think going to Newcastle with that expectation of you're going to fill Dom Young's role, who has just come off the back of a massive season. He's a gun.
Yeah.
Newcastle fans love him. They don't want him to leave. Big shoes to fill. I've come in. They've basically just straight away named me as, you're their starting winger next year.
Yeah, wow.
But then you've got Inari who's there, who's a gun.
Yeah, bloody good player.
And he's been there. And we get there and we train and it's all well and good. He'd come back from the World Cup late. So Inari and I were just basically going playing on both wings. And round one comes and there's a bit of uncertainty of how it's going to go. And I end up speaking to Adam and he just said, I'm going to go with Inari.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting there going, well, what's going on here? But in saying that, I can sit here and say I wasn't making it impossible for him not to pick me inside.
Yeah, okay.
So I look back at it and I was filthy at the time, but in saying it's my own fault. If you're training good enough and showing them what you've got, then they can't leave you out of the side. It's as simple as that.
Yeah, it's such a tough lesson to learn for a young fella, and every single young fella has to learn it. Is like only control what you can control. Like you can be promised everything; it's all irrelevant. You have to focus on what you can control. Actually, it was Brent Tate that said the same thing to me when I was at the Warriors. Like when I was getting a bit upset and like certain things were agreed to, and like it always happens in league. And he just said, mate, at the end of the day, the only thing that you need to worry about is what you can control. And if you just keep turning up, training hard each day, it'll turn around eventually. But it really is true. Like it really is a timeless bit of advice, especially in rugby league when it's so ruthless. Like maybe in other industries, like I'm not saying every other industries are always honest, but maybe there's less ruthlessness because it's not as a big of an industry as maybe league or whatever. But league, like one day you can be the most loved player at a club and the next day you're not. It can be that simple. That simple.
It is, which is like, I think that's a good thing and a bad thing in its sense. It obviously keeps you accountable and being young and not understanding. It's one of those hard things that I think some experience, some don't, and it's not an easy thing to go through. But you look back on it. Obviously, I look back now and I think it was something that I probably needed to go through to mature and understand as a person and as a player. And then it goes from there, and you have your highs and lows, and that's part of footy. And
now you're here though, which is good. Like exactly, in that moment, you're sitting there going, "What a setback!" But little did you know that you could be doing what you're obviously doing now. So okay, so you don't make the round one side. Do you reckon? So you obviously you were training hard, but do you reckon there was an element of youthful not doing all the little extras that you could have been doing, or were you a guy that always did the little extras and always went the extra mile?
No, I definitely think. Don't get me wrong. Like I think I done extras and I worked really closely with Gags.
Legend, the best bloke ever. Gags.
So good, and he was so helpful in developing me, and he was one of those people up there that I looked up to. Like he's great. Like he's unreal, and I think he is one of those people who helped me in my career in saying, similar to what you said. He just said, as long as you work hard and you chip away, things will start. You'll get the rewards.
Yeah. Which is, I tell you, won't mind me saying this, mate. If young Gag, because I was at the Broncos when he was coming through. Bro, this guy, like, he was late so many times. He missed his weight so many. Granted, the weight targets were ridiculous. He'd be out the front spewing because he was sculling water bottles to try and make his weight. But again, it's just such a good example of seeing a guy as talented as Gagai. And I'm telling you, the raps on Gag coming through, basically he was supposed to replace Hodges long-term at the Broncos. Like, that's how highly rated he was. And then I didn't agree with it that he got moved on. I thought it was the craziest, stupidest decision ever that had happened. But look at the man he's matured into because of that, you know?
Yeah, exactly. I think things come and go. And at the time you won't understand it, but in the long run, it probably ends up working out.
Yeah.
I think going up there with him and trying to learn and understand and develop as a player, I think, like I said, I worked hard and I understood it, but there was always this, I don't know, I wouldn't say subconsciously because I never ever, and I know that nothing's ever guaranteed, but there was part of me that thought, well, I need to just train good, build this connection with Gags, and then round one comes and we'll roll into the season. But I was more worried about how can I build this connection and how can we get on the same page, whereas I wasn't trying to develop as much as I could as a player.
Okay.
And that probably ends up hurting me in the sense of when round one comes, Nas had been killing all preseason. Like, I've never seen someone so good at con games. He's
really?
So good, man.
Yeah.
And yeah, as I said, like, it didn't fall my way, and that's part of footy.
Yeah, it's man, preseason, you learn so much in the first few years. Because like my attitude in the first few years was, as long as I win everything, I'm doing my job. But I didn't realise that, because so basically my mindset used to be like, all right, it's 7 o'clock. As soon as I cross that line, I'm going skits. As soon as I get home, that's done. I'm not even thinking about it. Like, I'm doing my own thing. I've just been always kind of taught, like, just rip in when you're there and then stop thinking about it. You can't do that in league. You got to be a professional all that time.
Yeah, that's mad. Well, that's actually a cool thing. I think it's important to be able to switch off. And
yeah, but I switched off too much.
Don't worry. Sometimes I do. But I think, yeah.
Yeah, so, okay, so you have that disappointment at the Knights, but you ended up obviously debuting for the Knights. Do you remember the call-up and everything like that?
Yeah, so I ended up debuting in Townsville, which is crazy because I debuted in Townsville. It was on my birthday. Debuted up there. We ended up losing in Golden Point.
Oh, no way.
So that was obviously really, really tough. Greg had broken his hand, and which was such a cool experience. Like, debut is always something you don't forget, and it was obviously really disappointing. But yeah, obviously went on from there and played the next few games.
Yep.
With Greg out.
And at what point did you go, oh shit, this might not be working for me? At what time do you reckon you felt that?
Yeah, it wouldn't have been too late. I played a few games, played the Bulldogs game, got dropped. That was a bit of a hairy situation, a bit of like I was probably used to Ivan being really open and transparent in saying if he's going to make a decision, he'll just tell you.
He'll just walk up and tell you.
And he'll get on the front foot, which, like, I love that about Ivan. I respect that so much about him. He's a person who he'll just tell you first thing, this is what I'm doing. And it probably sucks, but
it's just
at least
clear,
you know when it's clear.
Yeah.
I feel like I probably didn't get that at Newcastle. I felt like we went into a team meeting and the team was named, but I hadn't been told and I just wasn't in there. But then I thought, maybe like a conversation comes post-meeting.
Yeah.
Didn't come. So I was just like, I accept that. And and that was sort of a bit like on the back foot there straight away of like, well,
what's going on?
Yeah. And I was like, I can understand that Greg's coming back in and Nari was killing it. But I would have just loved the conversation to be like,
what do I need to work on and all that kind of stuff.
Hey mate, this is what it is. Went back, played cup. Obviously done that, and then it was probably late in the season.
Was your cup form good, do you think?
Yeah, it was all right, but it wasn't. I probably look at my cup form in the first 2 rounds of this year, and then I look at it last year, and I just was like,
yeah, okay, fair enough.
To be honest, bro, I can sit here and openly say I had my worst year last year.
Yeah,
I'll say I was shit. Like I just wasn't performing. I don't know what was in the sense of how it come about or why I wasn't performing. Jimmy Jones, the legend at Penrith, when I first come down, he said, if you're not happy, you're not going to play good footy.
Yeah,
and
it's true though. It's true.
I think in saying that was probably a part of it. I think late in the season, there was an elimination final. Not an elimination final, but it sort of needed to win.
To make the 8 that year.
Yeah, and it was sort of up in airs, and one of the boys went down. I thought maybe it might be me. Didn't end up being me. And then it ended up being like 2 or 3 boys that had gone. And that's when I was like, okay, totally get it.
Yeah.
Maybe it's just not for me here. I'm obviously not in their future plans, which was totally understandable.
Yeah.
I hadn't performed. I hadn't lived up to expectation. So it was a conversation of with my manager. I said, I think I'm going to get a release.
Yeah. So it was a 2-year deal that you'd signed?
2-year deal.
Yep.
So I was just going to be there for the year after that, like this year, obviously. And he'd asked, okay, where do you want me to look? And I said, just give me 2 weeks and I'll let you know. And I just sat down with my partner, mum and dad, and then obviously a few very close mates. And I was just said, like, I'm going to leave Newcastle. And they said, okay, but where next? And I couldn't even give them an answer. And I just said, I'm going to finish with footy. I'm going to go live a normal life.
Yeah, well, so you'd made that call. Were you 21 at this stage?
20, no, it would have been 23. So this was just, it was only
last year, so 23.
23.
Oh, right.
I just said, I'm going to go do something. I'm not sure what yet, but I said, I need to enjoy life to be able to play good footy. And my missus she wasn't filthy. She was just, as all partners would be, and even my parents were just like, what are you doing? You have such an opportunity, which not many people get to have. And like, it sounds so selfish. Like, I'm going to give up this contract and this opportunity that so many kids strive for and don't reach. But I just found like at the time, if I'd stayed there, I was simply just going to play another shit year of footy. I didn't want to be there. I wasn't motivated. And at the end of the day, I just thought, if I'm ever going to have another crack at it, then I've got to do it a different way.
Yeah, okay. And also, like, in your defense, like, the culture this year at the Knights wasn't necessarily sparkling. Let's just put it that way. They came last. Like, so it's not like the environment there was this great environment to be a part of and happiness and everything. So, like, there was that. I will say, like, I like the fact that your parents and your partner was angry, because sometimes it takes other people to see your potential. Sometimes you just doubt yourself and you don't believe in yourself, but the people that love you are like, they see the best version of you. So they're like, you're better than this kind of thing. But obviously it all ended up working out. So with that conversation, when did you know when you were like, that's it?
Yeah. So I sort of tried to get my ducks in a row, say like, I figured out a job if I was going to be able to, live,
afford to pay
afford
rent
and be able to live. And I knew I was going to have to come back to Sydney. I was really lucky. One of my mates looks after me. He looked after me so much.
Yep. Geez, he'd be stoked watching you.
Yeah, he's so happy for me. He said, "You've got a full-time job here if you want it."
That's legend. Legend.
And he said, "But like, I don't want you to give up fully. Like, I want you to It's just, this is just like a thing for the time being.
Like
if you end up loving it, done. You got a job here."
Yeah. What was it?
It was disability work.
Oh, how good.
Yeah. So, and that's something that I like so passionate about. I'm sure we'll get into it deeper.
Yep.
In a bit, but I ended up doing that probably within like a week. I rang my manager, told him, "Hey mate, I'm going to give up footy," and he was the same. He's going, no, like, and he was so good at that time. He's one of those people where he looked after me and he did care for me a lot.
Who's your manager? Because that's, managers can obviously they got a bit of reputation. Who is it?
I was Andrew Purcell at the time.
Purcell.
Yeah. He was really good.
That's good to know.
He was so good, man. Like he obviously got me when I was a young kid from the country and looked after me coming into it. I finished up. I told Newcastle. I said I'd requested a release.
Yeah.
And my manager sends me through an email and said, Newcastle has sent the release. They've accepted it.
Mm.
I said, sweet. We just finished finals. The boys have been knocked out. I signed it. It was just a 1-page document, just one signature. And I went in for end of year meetings, thinking it was the next day. I went in expecting like a final meeting
thanks,
with
mate. See you later.
Sully and Adam O'Brien, and there was nothing.
What?
It was just like no. There was no meeting, or it was just the boys were leaving and that was it, which was a surprise to me. And I think I could have initiated a conversation.
As in, no one had an end of year meeting. With
there was no real meeting. There was no a one-on-one coaches, nothing. So I left there, just being oh,
it's over.
I'm gone. Yeah. No one really knew that I was leaving until Prezzo, and the Prezzo said departing players.
Yeah.
Which was disappointing in a way. I obviously would have loved to have thanked Newcastle and thanked the coaches. They took a chance on me, and
I just have a normal human being conversation with people that you've been working with.
Yeah, and I don't hold any demise or anything like that towards any of them up there. They took a chance on me, and it didn't work out. It was just simply one of those business things where it didn't work out, and we went in a different direction. Which
I'm sorry to hammer this. Just to be clear though, so there was no meeting for any players or just for you?
I'm not sure if there was meetings for other boys.
Okay.
But I just think because I was leaving, I expected when the email comes through, I'd expected that there would be
thanks, mate.
Appreciate it, mate.
Yep.
I obviously would have liked to have said appreciate it. Sorry, it didn't work out. Blah blah blah. But there just wasn't. And at the time, I was a bit
damn,
didn't understand it, and I was a bit confused and a bit not off it, but I was just oh.
Well, it's funny because you're sitting here taking accountability for the fact that you felt you know what, I didn't put my best foot forward. But the Knights are going to take. I know you're not saying this, so this is my opinion, guys, and my opinion only. But you're sitting there saying you didn't put your best forward. I guess the Knights have got to ask themselves, did they put their best forward? Did they put their best foot forward for you? That's in my opinion anyway. As I said, you're not saying this is just my opinion here in the situation.
Yeah. No, I think don't get me wrong. There's such a good group of boys up there. They're so good and they're pretty tight knit.
Yeah. Seems like a really cool crew of boys like Ponga and all those boys and Bradman Best and Gags and that. More just the administration side of things. I guess that's where I question how certain things are handled. But so you go to the end of season ball. They say you're leaving. Is that so? When they announced it, that's when everyone was like, "Oh shit, you're leaving, bro."
Yeah, the boys were sort of just oh, you're actually because I hadn't. It was pretty quick in that, it was the boys obviously knew that I was signed for 2 years, so they thought I was staying, and then that was a bit of a shock. And I told a few of the boys I'm going to leave. And, it ended up being that, and there was a few goodbyes and a few. I'm sure I'll see you down the track kind of thing.
A few beers too, surely.
Yes, there was a few beers. That's good.
So that happened. And funnily enough, I can kind of understand the feeling that you're talking about in regards to because I think I was 26 when I was man, I'm done with this shit. I was probably done with it 3 years before it. It is a bit of it's a nervous feeling, but just the relief of that pressure that you put yourself under as a young footballer, just to have that off your shoulders, it's quite freeing. Did you feel that too, or no, you were quite nervous about the next stage?
Oh, I think a bit of both. It was a pretty whirlwind of emotions. I knew... People say when you do make a big decision and you know it's the right one straight away when you feel the weight off your shoulders. I think at the time there was a massive weight off my shoulders in leaving Newcastle. I think, and I look now and I know that was the right decision. Was it the right decision to jeopardise and probably end my whole NRL career? Maybe not.
Yep. But
I just looked at it as if I'm going to come back and I'm going to play NRL. It's how I want to do it and I'll go about it my way. Which was, don't get me wrong, it was one of those things where it could have gone so wrong. It could. I couldn't.
Mate, leaving a system is a big deal, and I don't mean system is in Newcastle. I mean you're leaving the NRL pool of players.
Yeah. So obviously go there, make that decision. My partner, we'd made the decision. We were going to come back to Penrith, which so much respect to her. She
follow your
She just followed me. Follows me everywhere. She didn't actually. So she had a job in Penrith. She had the same job in Newcastle, but she changed departments. But she'd actually asked me, like, I'm going to take this new job. Are you going to be here? And this was like pre me saying, I'm going to leave. I said, yeah, well, I'm signed for 2 years, because I had every intention of.
Of course.
And then I've turned around a couple of months later and said, and she's just like, God, oh my God, like this is so hard. And luckily her work's so good for her. They obviously looked after her, and she'd come back to Sydney and do it.
Mate, the partners in rugby league, they don't get enough credit.
They don't
seriously.
get enough credit, man.
Like, I always ask myself, would I drop my career to follow a chick and she was like a fringe first grader in something, and it's not good money, like, and I was just going to put everything, my whole life on hold to chase her dream? Would I have enough, not selfishness, to do that? I don't know if I would, and that's why I'm like, they don't get anywhere near the credit they deserve for it.
Yeah, no way. Which was like crazy, and once we'd sort of got the ducks in a row, and she was able to work her end of it out. Moved back to Penrith, had a few conversations, was trying to figure out if I'd be able to afford it, and I wasn't sure, and I'd asked my manager, like, oh, how much do you think I'll get? And I was thinking, I'm going to go play Ron Massey.
Yeah.
And he's just said, like, you'll get a couple $100. Like, it's that simple. So I was like a bit rattled.
Yeah.
Luckily, I called Ads from St Mary's. He's so good, and we end up getting a decent deal. Decent deal done. That I was like, yeah, I can work with this.
So is this? I always get this wrong. So this is one underneath New South Wales Cup, correct?
Yep. Yeah. So it's basically like, it is such a good comp. I actually believe that it's a good thing for 20s boys to go and play in the Massey, just a verse men.
Yeah.
It's that simple. Like, it's hard, and you're gonna get a natural feeling for what New South Wales Cup's going to be like, because it is a big jump from 21-year-olds to men.
Massive, especially in the forwards, in the middle there.
Yeah, call him up, get a deal done there. So excited.
Yeah. So where's your mindset here? Like, are you thinking this is my path to NRL, or are you thinking I just need a bit of extra money to make this work, this move work?
So my sole intention to play with St Mary's was to go play with a good club. Like, so many of my mates are there, and to be able to get back to playing good footy.
Okay.
I didn't really have an aspiration to go back to the NRL this year. Like, I obviously wanted to, but at that time I was...
You'd go to New South Wales Cup then, wouldn't
you? A bit over it, yeah.
Because you could have trialled for some New South Wales Cup clubs.
Yeah, my manager said there was a few that were keen to take a chance, and I just sort of said, no, I want to go here, and I told my manager, if you can get me back to Penrith, I'll go to Penrith. That's it.
That's it. Wow.
At that time, I wasn't willing to really go anywhere else, just simply because I knew and I trusted and I understood that the system and the boys, and go back with the intention to play St Mary's. I'm working in disability, so good. Life was like sick. I was like, this has actually worked out, and I was so content with life, and I was so happy, probably the happiest I've been that year.
Yep.
Of like, this is working out. I wasn't thinking about footy. I was more thinking of like, what am I doing in this world that I can simply be a better person rather than be a better player, and I need to find my own path and do that. Train once at St Mary's. I do a 5 and 5, do a Bronco, the good old Bronco in pre-season.
That's 1.2K. Yeah. So that's basically, for listeners, that's up 20, back 20, up 40, back 40, up 60, back 60. You do that 5 times.
Yeah. So I'd done that. I think I ran 4:52. So mind you, decent, but not that good.
Like, compared to, if you're a top tier, like Dearden in the NRL, you're looking at like 410, around there.
Quick.
Yeah.
So, and I was like, shit, I'm like behind the ball.
Yep.
And I was like, I need to, like, St Mary's have put a lot of faith in me, and a lot of, like, they took a big deal. I was like, sweet. So I said, I want to go there, and I want to be the best player I can be for them, so they can look back and they can go, we like bought him, and we love that we've bought him. They were so good. Benny Harden calls me. I'm meant to do 4-minute runs, and Penrith, if the Penrith boys will know, 4-minute runs are torture.
So what are the 4 minutes runs?
They're dead set. You run up and down the field for 4 minutes and see how long you can get. And then you have 4 minutes rest and then you do it again. You do it 4 times. So it's like you end up doing about 4Ks. So it's so tough. I was meant to do them at St. Mary's because they
see how long you can get is the tough bit about it because you're always trying to beat the last time.
Yeah. And like part of you, like you go, I can dog it here, but you just can't. Like I just feel like the competitor in all the boys that you're going to just flog yourself.
And you might, in between sets, you're like, you know what, fuck it, I'm over it. I'm not doing it. I'm just going to just cruise and just get an easy time. And then as soon as you step up to that white line, you're like, fuck that shit.
Sitting there going, I'm doing
I'm ripping in here.
So I was meant to go into Saints that Arvo, do 4-minute runs. Benny Hard, New South Wales Cup coach, calls me. And he says to me, I hear you at St. Mary's. I said, yeah. He goes, do you want to come train in the Arvos for Cup? And I said, yeah, done.
Yeah.
I said, I'll ask St. Mary's and see what they think. I knew a few of the St. Mary's boys were doing it already. Actually, I've forgotten a big part of this whole story. But so I come back to Penrith the day before I leave Penrith, and this is insane. But I sit down with Jack Cogger in Newey, and he obviously has a few years left on his deal. I was telling him I was leaving, and we're just having like a goodbye coffee. We'd obviously come from Penrith and going to Newey together, and I experienced the highs and lows and what it was like. We have a coffee, we sit down, and I said, I'm trying to get back to Penrith, but there's nothing there. And he just said, like, how are you going about it? What are you doing? I just said, I'm trying to get through my manager. Penrith have said no twice. And I said, I'm just going to do this. He was like, why don't you give Ivan a call? And I just said, I was like, oh yeah, I might give him a call and just suss it out. And then have a coffee. We just yarn about life and different things. And then as we're walking to the car, little notebooks, love scene, he yells out and just says, like, he's like, make sure you give Ivan a call.
Oh, really?
So I get in the car, go back to Penrith, and then like a day later, I give him a call and said, hey, mate, can we meet up for a coffee? He doesn't answer. He rings me back a day later and goes, hey, mate, how you going? Like a bit like surprised by the call, I think, and just said, I said, do you mind if we sit down for a coffee? He was so good, sat down for a coffee. Basically, I just said, I want to come back and this is what I'm doing. He just asked me a few different questions. I think more to understand my mindset and probably my maturity and see if I'd matured as a person. Leaving in Newcastle, just explain the whole situation, what I was doing, and then he just said, oh mate, like, I'm not going to sit here and offer you a contract today. He's like, I can't do it. I don't know what there is. I don't know the whole situation at the moment. He said, but I won't sit here and say the door's closed.
That's all you need.
I said, sweet. I said, sweet. That's all I need. Like I said, I don't expect promises. I don't expect contracts. I'm coming back here to show you, and if it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't. I'm content with that. And he just said, sweet. So then obviously we get back to the Benny Harden calls.
So how many months between that call and the Benny Harden call was there?
So I'd come back around late October. I'd come back late October, mid-November-ish. So the Benny Harden call would have been around December. So mid-December. So about a month, I reckon.
And a half or so, yep.
He just says, do you want to come in and do Arvos with Cup? And I honest to God, had like a feeling of, okay, well, I'm only going to get better as a player if I'm training with the Arvo Cup squad so I can play gun for St. Mary's and I can still develop as a player and still keep my skills at a high level. And in saying that, like, there would have been very similar trainings. Like, St. Mary's is so high quality. That's why I think they're so successful as well, and why Penrith get a lot of their players to play in Cup when they need them. End up doing that, doing the Arvos. Went through to Christmas. A few boys get told, you're going to head back to St. Mary's. At the time, I just was expecting it. You're going to go back. And I was like, sweet. After Christmas, there's no real word. Nothing's being said. call Benny Hard and go, hey mate, I like just wondering what I'm doing.
Yeah, what's going on?
And he's like said it like, you're training on this day, like you're back in. Like, and I was like, oh sweet, like grateful as.
Yeah.
I was like, that's cool. So go in, train there.
First little win for you?
Yeah, first little win. Like, I was like, that's mad. Like I still get to train, do pre-season.
Mm.
And I remember going into that pre-season, I'd obviously done the 5 and 5. When I went up the cup, I don't know like what it was, or I just like flicked, just felt like this thing, and I
just in the zone kind of thing.
I've never ever been like so fit. I've never been so like invested in being better, and that's what helped me. I can sit here and say now, I think doing a cup pre-season was better for me than doing a grade pre-season, because it just ended up pushing me so much more to be like, I just wanted to win everything, and I wanted to sort of prove and show that I was a player that can still play at a high level, and also obviously be fit, and that's always a good sign.
Like people listen and go, oh, how could you train harder than you've already trained? It's like, it's the little things. It's like in that 5th set, instead of running 4:30, run until you throw up.
Yeah.
In the gym, when usually the people running the gym, you've got 4 sets of 10, and usually by the 4th set you're at 6, and you're like, yeah, I'll just push this out normally. You're pushing everything out to the perfect. Everything is perfect. Every single moment is perfect. That's the difference of kind of training that you can do when you go another level.
Yeah, and I just felt like I was just trying to compete. Like I knew there was a lot of fit boys in that cup squad, and just doing fitness drills, and I'll just pick out 1 or 2. I knew we're going to get high, and I'll just say I'm going to go until when they're done, and I'll just race them kind of thing, which was kind of cool. And I have so much credit to them boys, and they were like younger and probably haven't experienced first grade yet, but I actually admired like how they were going about their work, and probably something that I didn't do when I was that age. So like, which is so sick to look at now.
Yeah. Shows you how good
just
that
trying to just trying to help them as well. Like I'd obviously been in it and understood it in a sense.
Yeah.
But just going out there trying to compete. First trial comes around, nothing. Second trial, they said there was no real talks.
So the first trial, did you do a trial with Q Cup though? Sorry, New South Wales Cup in the first trial? Or you hadn't trialled yet?
No, I hadn't trialled yet. So I didn't play the second NRL. It was an NRL trial, which like none of the boys had played. And then third trial, they were in Vegas, and they said, we want you to come play in this one. So crazy. I'd booked Vegas to go watch as a fan. So I'd booked it. I'd booked it like a couple months before, after I'd left Newcastle. So I had flights, I had everything. And
so this love for Penrith is real, you know, it's real.
So I was flying out in a couple of days.
No way.
They said, come, they said, and I'd sort of thought, if I get this opportunity to trial, I'm going to have to can it.
Yeah.
He said, come trial. I said, yes, sweet. So I'd ring my mates and say, I can't come.
Yeah.
One of my other mates is so lucky, he just goes, yeah, I'll do it.
I'll do it. Yeah, okay.
They go to Vegas, obviously have the sickest time of all time.
Yeah.
I was there. But I was just like, if this is my chance, and I'm not gonna give up for Vegas. When I was younger, I took a chance to party rather than to take a cool opportunity in my career. Yeah. Which is like, I look back now and I go, maybe that was the reason where I'd done that to learn to never do it again. Yeah. I'd done it. I'd done the trial. I signed a dev deal 2 days before we played. Oh, so okay. So I signed it. So they told me that week you're going to play. And then Spud messaged me. My manager wasn't really involved in it because I just said I want to do it on my own. Yeah, yeah.
And you were like such a low kind of spot financially, like it doesn't really make much difference to the manager. Yeah.
And I was just like, I'm going to do it on my own, just so I can have control. And he was good. He just said, yeah, sweet. Spud sent me through an offer, Dev in the top 30. You know, I'm not even joking when I say like I didn't even go back to him and go, oh no, maybe add this. I just
signed it.
Went in Monday and said, where do I sign? Signed it. I said, I don't care what it is. I said, I just want to be back in the squad. And it was cool, obviously training the Arvos. I see all of the grade boys and they're going about their business during the day,
Yeah.
and then I'm in there in the Arvos as they're going home.
Yeah.
That's obviously a bit of motivation as well.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
I'm cool, but it was a bit awkward, man, like seeing them and like
Because you've gone away, you were with
Yeah.
them before, and now you're in Resi's again.
Yeah, and I'm like, sweet.
Yeah.
But in saying that, like, I look now and I'm like, they wouldn't have looked at it like that.
They would have loved it.
That's cool. Like, oh, you're back here.
100%. I think it's like it's almost like a young man's ego a little bit, because like you've been in the first grade squad, and it's like you feel as if you've taken a step backwards, but it's just a step around, not a step backwards.
Which is cool. And then obviously, sign the deal, and then I honestly thought I was going to play Massey still.
Yeah. Wow.
I thought I was still going to play Massey, and I was actually kind of like excited, or not excited, but I didn't really mind if I played Massey or if I played Cup.
Well, there's no in Massey, probably with all your mates, and there's pressure, but like nowhere near the same amount of pressure as New South Wales Cup and all that kind of stuff as well.
Yeah, which was so cool. Like, I just thought, this is mad. I get the best of both worlds. Like, it's a win-win in that sense. So I was going to play Massey anyways, or I'll play Cup. But I was content with either. It didn't really matter to me.
Yep. And so, how'd you go in the trial?
Actually, I played all right. Like I had a decent game. It was a lot of like young boys, and we ended up winning against Manly, which was cool. And then obviously.
Oh yeah, so this would have been a televised trial, wouldn't it? Yeah.
Yeah. So
that game against Manly, and he's looked outstanding.
Yeah.
Had that young fella at 7. What's his name?
Talau.
Yeah, Talau. Yeah, played really well.
Yeah, put on a dime. Yeah.
Wow. Did you feel the physical difference of having a proper preseason where your whole life is dedicated to being as physically good as you can be?
Yeah, definitely. Like I've just felt. I remember coming off, and just. Your first few games of the season are always hard.
Yeah.
Like you don't have match fitness. You don't have. You could train the house down. You're always going to feel pretty like you're going to feel a natural level of fatigue. I felt fatigued, but I didn't feel like I had the years before.
Yeah.
That's when I really knew I was like, I've actually got the most out of this preseason. And I've worked hard.
Yeah.
And got it. And then luckily, obviously, get to play Cup the week later. First round, started in the centres. Mad. Played like pretty decent. Round 2, played not decent again. Ended up playing, our fullback got concussed with like 10 minutes in the second half maybe. And I'd never really played fullback. I had growing up, but Benny just goes, go, you're in fullback now. I hadn't trained splits. I had trained a few reps there in preseason.
As in splits, as in splitting the field defensively?
Yep. Just like telling the boys which way to go and getting the numbers right, which is like, I think that's one of the things that the average spectator doesn't understand.
Mate, that's what made Billy Slater so good, was his ability to communicate that. Like, why do you think the Storm had such a good defence for so long? I mean, why do you think Penrith's defence so good? He's still at the back there. He's constantly talking.
Insane.
Yeah.
Like, I admire how he's doing it because it's such a struggle. Even Dano, like, it's insane.
Yeah.
I ended up playing that 15 minutes. Ivan was there. He was there. He watched. And then I come off the field. I think it was the day before my birthday. So again, and I've planned to go into the city, have a big one. All my mates are down from one of my brother lives in Newcastle. My other mate lives in Newcastle. My mates come up from the country. And then obviously a few of my Penrith mates, and we're ready to go. And Benny had gotten wind of it and said, are you going to go out? And I was like, yeah, it's my birthday tomorrow. Like, I'm going to go have a few. And then he doesn't really say anything. And then he comes up to me 5 minutes later and goes, I don't know. Like, I don't know if you should this week. And I was just like, sitting there going,
what's this guy talking about?
Like,
what do you mean? It's my birthday.
I was like, come on, man. And I was like, whatever. Like, I was sweet. I was like, we're right here then. I just thought, I'll cruise. And then I'm walking.
How peppered by the boys did you get when you sent that message? Oh, boys, I'm not coming out tonight.
So I was like, I can't really do anything. So as I'm walking out of the ground, I'm just about to like message them because they were all raw and ready to go.
Yeah, like
it was
locker
ready. Yeah. And Ivan calls me. So this is when I'm like a bit like, why is he calling me?
Yeah. And Benny's just told you not to go out.
And I was like, oh, hey, Ivan. Yeah, he said, you a possibility this week, you might be playing. And I'm just like going, what? Like, I'm just like mind blown going, oh my God, how am I going to play in round 3?
Yeah.
Like, how am I going to play against Melbourne Storm at Amy Park? I said, this is sick.
Yeah.
So I ring the boys, like, I'm not drinking. They're going, why? So I'm like, gosh, I can't, like, I might be this, so don't, like, keep it under wraps.
Yeah.
I go into training the next week. I don't know.
I hope they still sprayed you, even though
they were still, they were still off me. So they still got on it.
Yeah.
So they were still cheering, and I was just cruising there, going training the next week, and I initially wasn't actually supposed to play fullback. I was going to play in the centres, and Dill was out. Dano got injured, or something like that. Dano got injured in G2, about halfway through G2. So that's obviously 2 days before the game. And Ivan just says...
G2, what do you mean by G2?
So we just have like G4, G2, our training schedule. It's like 2 days before the game, we have a session.
Oh, okay.
And then you go into Captain's Run the day up. So that day, so the day before Captain's Run, halfway through the session, Dano gets injured. Ivan says, you're in fullback. Like, you're a chance of playing fullback this week. And I'm just there going... my dream my dream is coming true, but this is also a nightmare.
Yeah, against the Melbourne Storm too.
I'm just like, beauty, I'm getting peppered here. So but it was cool. I sort of just, I was never sitting there going, I'm going to fail, I'm not going to, I was sitting there going, this is an opportunity to like go and do something. This is cool. Yep. I took it as like this is mad. Dill got around me.
When did you start training with first grade? So
I started training with them when they got back from Vegas. So I'd only started with them on
round 2.
It would have been round 2, yeah.
Yeah.
So I'd trained with them for like not long, a couple of weeks.
Do you remember the call when they said we need you to come train with first grade? Were you just going?
Well, it was they were in Vegas when I signed my dev deal. Okay. So I just naturally when they
come back, you'd go into it.
I went into it.
Yep. Okay.
Which was mad, like to get my locker.
Oh,
I'm not, and don't worry. When I was there the first time, my locker, Mitch Kenny will vouch for this. There's like 3 lockers. He's in the middle one, and then there's Jack Cole, and then mine was on the end, right in the corner, but it's where the bins are.
Oh no!
So it's like the worst locker you could get.
Oh yuck!
Which was like grateful when I went in there. I was like, this is sick. I'm in the top 30. Like this is mad.
Grateful.
But now I'm up the back, on the back wall, which is hectic. So I'm next to Tags and Blaze now. I mean, next to Tags and Sony.
Oh, okay.
So that's mad. But I go in there, that was sick. But leading into that week, I wasn't sure. Captain's Run comes around and Dano does his fitness test and they say, he's out. You're in. So I'm like, just sitting there going, I'm not a creamer. Like, I wasn't going to sit there and cream in all this video and anything like that. I just knew I didn't have to do anyone else's job but mine to the best I can do it, and it would all work out. We worked on a few splits, we looked at a few different things, and then obviously game comes around, everyone's saying Jenkins won't play fullback, he won't play fullback, which is like kind of cool, like he won't play, and then ends up coming out, I'm going to play there. And people are just going, this is insanity. Like, he's never played there. Which in a sense, like, it was, but just that Ivan just, not one part of me felt like I wasn't supposed to be there because that's how good Ivy is. Like, he will give you full confidence that I'm not going to put you here unless I fully back you to be here. Dill work with me during the week, during those 2 days of like, just focus on this. Don't worry about anything else. He was mad. Then, as you know, 7 minutes into the game, Nate gets HIA and he's out for the game. Then we go, our spine, our halves, and it was Coley, Blaze, and then me. So there's our service. So young as service. We've never played a game together, really. We played games together, but not together fully. And then we ended up losing, unfortunately. But I think that was a big stepping stone in.
And for people that are like, what's the big deal about fullback compared to wing? Like, bro, fullback is it's night and day, the importance of winger compared to fullback. Like fullback is, it probably goes your 7, your 9, then your fullback, I reckon. I think sometimes your fullback's more important than your 6 sometimes.
Yeah.
At least in regards to their impact on the game, what you're supposed to be doing as a fullback when it comes to an organisation, when it comes about, doing your shifts and who's on the right side, the left side. So, mate, it's a bit like, this is how much of a big deal it was. When I debuted at fullback, but when we got into good ball, Darius would go to fullback, I would go to wing because my ball playing wasn't that good. So that's how much people will make changes when it comes to fullback kind of thing.
Yeah.
So when you put that jersey on that day, what's that feeling like of just thinking at one stage, 4 or 5 months ago, you were done with rugby league. Now you're going to play fullback for the best team, arguably the best team to ever exist, and you're about to run out. What's that feeling like?
Yeah, it was nuts. I was so nervous, but I was also so excited. I think leading into the week, I was just like, this is mad. This is an
can't believe
opportunity.
this happened.
I didn't expect it to sort of eventuate. I didn't really think, I said it before, I was happy to play one cup game.
Yep. What was the conversation like with your partner? Like, far out, you did it,
She was just like, she was just like, there's no way. Like, she's like, are you joking? Like, and I was like, no, because she was obviously the first one I call and say, Ivan just called me. I'm a big chance this week.
Yep.
And she was just like, oh my God.
Like 2 weeks ago, you were essentially filling in New South Wales Cup.
Yeah.
Like literally 2 weeks before that, still working your disability job. Yeah. Everything's normal to you're about to debut, not debut, but play for the NRL club. Like it's a quick turnaround.
Yeah.
Quick turnaround.
It came in such quick succession. I think looking back now, I'm like, I still enjoyed it in that sense of it was just so many big, massive moments. I sign a contract, I become full-time, I play cup, I play like decent in cup, and then I play NRL. Like those few weeks were like massive and
it's like a whirlwind.
Like this was like, it sort of, it was one of those things where I look back at, and at the time I said, this is where I know I've made the right decision to leave Newcastle. Yeah. And it just, I was like, it's worked out. But I didn't understand what was ahead. Like I just, like I thought I might play like a couple games and when the boys get back fit, I didn't know what would happen. Yeah. I just, I don't know, I took a big thing in this year of just being where my feet are and trying to just stay in the moment and not focus on what I've done or what I could do or what's in the future. It was just all about like, this week is the most important thing. Yep. I think the disability taught me that massively. Like,
yeah. Walk us through. So, how'd you get into disability? Because like you got to be not a certain kind of person in a negative way, but a certain disposition to want to help people. I don't want to say less fortunate because that's probably a misunderstanding of what they're going through. But like, it's tough sometimes for them,
Yeah, definitely. I think less fortunate is like you can say it because in the sense of like they are at a disadvantage, but I do think that their quality of life can be so improved by you helping. Like I say this like with all respect in saying like a bad day in my world at footy is such a good day in their world. Yeah. Like they have the hardest life of how do they go about things and just the simple everyday struggles of being independent and not being able to do different things. Yeah. I found that like so hard when I first started it. Don't get me wrong, I've never changed a nappy and I had to start changing nappies when I was working disabilities, which was like such a wake up call.
And it's not your kid too as well, like it's other people's.
But like in that sense, I never like looked at it as like, oh my God, this sucks. I was like, this is my life, like, and this is helping them and there's so many kids in it's the disability company's called Our Choice. Our Choice has so many different kids with different disabilities that you get to learn about so many different people and different understandings and what they do and how they go about life. And
because you'd have we'd all have these preconceptions of if this person has this, they're like this, but until you're actually in it, you don't see what it's really like, kind of thing.
Yeah. Oh, 100%. Like you'll get your people who have severe disabilities where they can't walk, talk, stuff like that. But you can get ones who just simply like can't go out into social areas with different social things that they can't deal with.
Yeah.
Which is really sad. In saying that, you just want to try and help and understand their world, and you're never ever going to be able to understand it fully. But as long as you're there with the right intentions of how you can help them and better their life in some way, it could be small, it could be massive. It's just going about every day. It's cool.
Did you get a lot of fulfillment as well, like seeing helping the families? Because I feel like that would be some of the hardest part about disabilities is obviously it's the person is the number one priority. The person with the disability is the number one priority, but the family around it, how their lives change as well. And the business that you work for probably relieves a bit of stress for them. Is that kind of how it works to a degree?
Yeah, massively. I think like so much respect for the parents that have the participants. But I think they also bring so much joy to their lives, and it's a bit underestimated how much happiness and stuff like that. I can imagine it would be difficult at times and all that, but you'd be surprised that most of the participants that you deal with are some of the happiest people. They have their ups and downs, no doubt, but I think everyone does in life. But their parents are so grateful, and they also are so understanding. They trust us to go out with their kid and look after them, and I'm sure that's a pretty hard thing to deal with and be able to comprehend.
Like even, and this is obviously nowhere near as serious as disability or whatever, but like even just with my kids, getting a nanny for them, it's like leaving my child with a nanny. And like most people are good people, but it's just on that small chance that they're not treating my sons right. Like, so I can't imagine more vulnerable children in that situation, if you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, 100%. But I totally agree with that. Like, I'm not a father, but I can imagine like trusting someone else with your children is a big thing.
Crazy.
Either anyway. So, it is cool. I think it definitely gives a lot of fulfillment, and it also teaches me a lot about life. And I'm not Tom A footy player. I'm Tom the footy player.
Yeah,
no, sorry,
I like that.
Sorry. I'm not Tom the footy player. I'm Tom and I play footy.
Yeah, okay, I like that. I like that.
I just think, a lot of the boys go by that and do that, but I think it's important to. Footy is just something I do. It's not me as a personality.
It's a really important thing because like I was the opposite. Like I was too far into being an athlete. It was my identity. It's actually who I was that existed. And sometimes I can come back to bite you. Is there, is it called All Care, did you say?
Our Choice Disability.
Our Choice Disability. Is there any listeners, if they want to donate or get in touch or whatever like that, how do they do that?
They just, honestly, you can just go on Instagram and look up there. They've got a pretty big social scene. It's run by Aiden. His partner's Indy Cleary.
Okay.
Yeah, they're so good in. They are always obviously looking for new participants and how they can help, and they do all different things, man. Like it's community access. It's the simplest things of teaching them how to be independent and go and order themselves a coffee, go and order themselves food, or it's things as big as respite camps, taking them. I know they just went to Mudgee to watch our game in Mudgee. It was a 3-day camp where they take them away and they do all different activities. And I think it gives the parents a sense of they can sort of let the hair down and relax knowing they're in a safe environment. But their kids also out there enjoying it and doing something fulfilling and teaching them different life skills. So I know there's a lot of different companies and a lot of good ones, but I've worked with Our Choice obviously the last few months, and I love it there, man. So I know they look after them.
That's so good. Is there any young fella that you got along with really well, or young girl that is just like much cheekier than I thought they'd be, or more switched on than you thought they'd be, or anything like that?
Obviously there's definitely one that stands out. That's Big Fred.
Big Fred.
He's such a character. He's just one of those people who he just takes life as it is, and he has his days where he's ups and downs, but his mum and dad and his family are so genuine, so nice, and he lives all the way in Coogee.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he lives on Coogee Stairs. So he's got a mad little spot there, and you take him down, and you go and enjoy hot chocolates and all different things that he wants to do. But he's definitely one that stands out. I worked with him a lot when I was over Christmas time, and he taught me a lot about life can throw a lot of different things at you, and as much as hard as you think it is, there's a lot. Someone probably going through it a bit harder.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's good.
Okay, so you play for the Storm at fullback, but then you ended up playing 21 games this season. Like, when you started, like, kind of, because I'm sure even the second and third game, you're like, all right, I'm probably going to get dropped soon. You know, like, it's just that mindset that of, this is too good to be true. Maybe it wasn't, but that's maybe how I'd be thinking. At what point we going like I'm a regular first grader again? What's going on here? Or not even again, like I'm a regular first grader.
Yeah. I don't know, like I definitely, as everyone sees, it was a rough start to the season. So it was so hard. It's pretty hard to secure your spot in the losing side. I'm not sure. There definitely wasn't a point where I have sat there and gone,
this is
my spot.
Yeah.
I always know that your spot's never secure unless you obviously.
Even Cleary can get dropped, bros. Please, I'd drop him, mate. Really poor the other week.
He might get sent to Reggie's, but no, I think it's always important, especially this is my first year of regular first grade. It's important to just be taken every week as it comes. But yeah, there's times where I've sat there and gone like, this is my jersey to lose. It's up to me now how I play, and as long as I'm performing and as long as I'm putting my best foot forward to get selected every week, then that's always a good thing. I'll look back at it at the end of the season, and I'm sure there's the ups and downs and there's the different things that happen, but I'll be excited to look back and I'm just grateful that I've got to play first grade.
So that left side, you know, we spoke about a lot in our podcast, and I was like, at the start of the year, my biggest issue with the Panthers was, I was like, all these young guys are guns. Like, there's no denying that. They're going to be great first graders. But my worry was, I just don't know if they've got enough time to develop this season to be a premiership threat. Whereas next season, look out.
Yeah.
How wrong I was. I've said it a million times, so wrong with Penrith this year. What was it like internally? How did you turn, an edge defensively that just couldn't seem to get it to work to one of the stronger edges in your side kind of thing?
Yeah, I definitely think not playing together was a big part of it. I think, as you would know, defensively on an edge, like it's a lot about trust and a lot about process and how you go about things. And naturally, the more you play with someone, the more you're going to understand how they defend, how they attack. It just wasn't. It's not that it wasn't clicking, in a sense. It was just that we were just on different pages, and we thought we had the trust, but we just probably didn't in that sense.
I'll give the listeners an example. Sorry to interrupt you, just because you know what I'm talking about. So I used to love defending outside Darius because he was a super conservative defender. Like, he was either, we were short, he was going in, we weren't short, he was up and slide. So, but a lot of people would have thought you would rather play outside Hodges. And don't get me wrong, he was sick playing outside Hodges because you try for days.
Yeah.
But he was super hard to defend outside because he was such a high-level defender. He would throw in fakes. He would shoot out, then step back. And as a wingy, I was just like, I don't know what's... And so that just gives you an example of different... Like, both origin players, both outstanding players, but it just takes time to get used to their style of centre kind of thing, you know?
Yeah, honestly. And I think that's the hardest thing is... we were trying to gel and trying to understand how each other had played and learn each other's ways of defending, ways of attacking. Blazer was new to the system. Case is obviously very young. I'm coming back, haven't had a preseason. I'm doing the reps with them. So we're all pretty new. I think the game that stands out to me the most was the Dolphins game because we got butchered.
Yeah.
And I remember just sitting there with Case and Blaze after the game, and honestly, I was just saying, like, what went wrong to the point of, like, how did we get smoked? Like, we sit down, we go through it, and then I feel like we sort of just started to come to terms with how each other were defending and what we sort of need to do to fix it. There's obviously things we needed to fix and things we needed to solve, but I think it was more just the trust and the understanding that if you've got my back, I've got yours kind of thing.
Yep. Yeah, okay.
And then I feel like I can't remember a game that we got picked apart as bad as that one. I know Newcastle was obviously a bad one. That was a big turning point in the season.
I reckon Bulldogs was when it clicked for you guys, where it was just like Casey had a gun game against Critter.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. But internally, maybe it was a different game. But outside looking in, it seemed like the Bulldogs game was like clicked.
So I definitely reckon. Bulldogs game for Casey, like, and I can say this because he knows I obviously mean well with it.
Yeah, for sure.
Like, he has such a high ceiling, and like nobody's seen how high he can get. Yeah,
he's got a generational ceiling, in my opinion. Like,
he's like the last person. Like, this is such a big statement, but like the last person I've seen that does things is Critter, and I admire Critter. I put Critter there with the best centre. Like, I'm like, admire his game. Like, he's so good.
Yep.
Like, Casey definitely shows resemblance in the ceiling he's probably got.
Yep.
And I just think it was being a young kid and learning the ebbs and flows of first grade.
Yeah.
That Bulldogs game was massive for him to come up against someone like Critter, who arguably like, if our left edge got bathed that game, people would say, look at it, it's Critter.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, it's going to happen. Yeah,
but like, you look at the game and you go, Case held his own.
Yeah, for sure.
Which is so good. Like, so good for him in that sense of like, I think he's like, you can understand this kid's got so much talent. And you can, he's starting to get like the recognition of like how good he is and how good he can be. Which is awesome. So yeah, like that Bulldogs game was massive for us. And as an edge, definitely to build the trust and to I guess show that we can stick it with
well,
the
I mean, even like Blaze, like, so my understanding, he wasn't even playing 6 in Cup at the start of the year. Then he got brought in a few weeks, maybe even after you potentially. Or actually, no, maybe the same game. Anyway, he got brought in early. His improvement has been like, because like for a lot of the year, I was like, I'm not sure if he's a 6. I think he's more of a fullback. But he actually brings this kind of unique timing to 6 that a lot of other 6s don't have. What's it been like watching a guy like Blaze just get better and better and better? Freak of nature.
It is, it's mad. Like, obviously, he's such a big signing, and there's a lot of hype around him, and I can imagine that's pretty tough, like the pressures of it. Romy leaves, and you look at Romy and the quality of player he is, and then you bring it in a rookie like Blaze. They're massive shoes, and I wouldn't even want to be put in that situation. Like, the pressure under that would be just like, I definitely think as the years gone on, you're just starting to see like why Ivan's, what he sees in him, and like it's so evident in training what he has to offer and how good he was from the very start. Yeah, it's more just about getting reps and being able to get comfortable in his position and play the way he wants to play and play freely.
19 still, I think. 19, 20 maybe.
Yeah, 19 or 20. He's only young, so
young, bro.
Yeah, so that's crazy to think like. What his ceiling's just like, his is massive, and I think he's going to be at Penrith for a long time. And
so I'm going to be honest, if Blaze was in my squad, I would not stop doing the dodgeball quote, please, sleaze, tease. I would just say that every single day.
He's just so quiet, man. Like, I think that's the funny thing about Blaze is you're thinking he'd be a bit louder and but he's pretty quiet. Okay. And he doesn't keep to himself because he's a cheeky bugger. He's definitely getting better. I think that's his biggest improvement this year.
He's talking in that.
He's talking so much.
It's natural, man. Like when you're younger, bro, you're just so rattled by what's going on. When you're like a teenager in a first grade squad, you're just going, bro, I don't know what's actually happening here.
Yeah, which is mad.
Yeah. Like when I was, like I'll never forget when I first got called into first grade squad. Like, so this would have been 2006 when we won the comp, and just walking in and like Petro, Webke, Thorny, Lockie, Hodjo, Carmichael, and you're just going like, bro, what is happening right now? What is happening? And he's, Blaze is getting signed as a marquee signing after 4 premierships. Yeah, that's hectic, bro.
Insane. I think that's like, because I remember when Penrith obviously signed him, and we were just like, that's a big signing, and I know obviously Coley was coming through, and he's a gun as well. Yep. So it was kind of like, it was mad to see that they're going to be like, you two can fight it out. Yep. Which is cool, and it's Coley's got a big future ahead of him, and so does Blaze. It's just ended up that Blaze, they've gone with Blaze this year.
So you boys are in the final series. What's it like heading into a final series, a part of the squad? Now, you would have been a part of the squad when they won the comp Broncos year. So you would have been part of the squad in the Broncos year. Walk us through. Were you on the sideline in that game?
Yep. So,
Bro, what a crazy atmosphere. I was not on the sideline, I was in the stands, but craziest game I've ever been in my whole entire life.
nuts.
Like-
So I was here for Para and Broncos.
Yep.
Para won, obviously, seeing what happened. And
Yeah, dominant from
it was
the
like
start.
sick, like because we played the national final before it. So that was sick as
yeah,
well.
Matt, yeah.
But then Broncos, we go out to the lead. It's a pretty close game. You go in at halftime. We were just waiting on the buzz. The buzz around the grand final was hectic. The stadium's never really silent.
Yeah,
Like, it just feels like a
craziness.
murmur.
Yep.
They come out and Broncos have that insane 20 minutes of like, just like
What's happening?
insanity.
Yeah.
It was like, and then I remember sitting in the, you sit behind the bench. We were sitting on the right side of the tunnel, and then Broncos boys were on the left, and like they were celebrating.
Yeah.
like as I can imagine they normally would. Like,
Yeah.
they
18 points up or whatever. Like,
they were flying.
yeah.
And they
yeah.
were just like, they legit had the grand final. Like you could argue they had it wrapped up. Like it was like, that was the feeling in the stadium. I think a lot of fans,
Yeah.
not like you
This
couldn't,
friggin' guy fucking jinxed us. So we were
He said
sitting
it's
on
home.
mate. It was 15 to go. He's like, turns to me and he's like, "You've done it. You've won it."
It's crazy.
And I go, "Shut the fuck up, cunt. Don't jinx it."
honestly. and then it just simply turns out, we were obviously sitting there and the vibe was pretty like nerve wracking and low, and which is a natural emotion. Like you're
Yeah.
like, fuck, like how have they done this?
Yeah.
More scores. I think the biggest moment in that game that is not recognised, and like this is one that like the fans will go, how's that the big? Broncos are in Penrith's end, and the ball goes on the ground.
Hass offloaded out the back.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
I think it was someone scoops it up. I think it was Sorrow maybe. Someone scoops it up and offloads it, and they sort of make like a half break,
Yep.
and then they roll up to the field, and then that moment is like, I don't think people understand how big that was. Like Broncos
everything.
are attacking the line. If Broncos score that set, probably game over.
I mean, and obviously I'm not going to put it all on one person because we don't even get close to that grand final with that Hass. You could even go as far to say is if they just hold it for that set, they've got Penrith in their own end, they're arced up, they're G'd up, they probably win the game, you know?
Like, don't get me wrong, like Payne's, he's so good, bro.
No,
like
mate,
he's
joke,
like,
actual joke.
it's actually sickening to watch how good he is, but his one of his biggest strengths is his offload. So you can't even look at it and be like bad. Like that's such a bad thing.
We got him to the grand final.
That's what I mean. Like he's
Yeah.
doing that stuff for fun.
Yeah, yeah.
So I think and then obviously the boys Critter scores. Then they get a few. I force a few dropouts, and then as you know, Nath scores. Wouldn't want to run you through it too much, but
Mate, just
he obviously scores, and man, the vibe after that was like, mental. Like we went from winning, thinking this is a massive chance, to down 18, and then like proper devastation going on.
like
my
you
God.
got Walsh just flying at you, you got Haas, like you just got this crazy roster just
They were
going
just running
mad.
amok.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
they were just going, and then obviously that happens, and then like the boys come back to win it. It was like nuts.
The roar in the crowd when
Oh.
Cleary went over was just like deafening. Like it was just like insane. It's interesting because like the day before I got to go to their captain's run and just like hang out with the boys a little bit and speak to some of the administration at the Broncos, and like they were just so confident that if they click, they'll win. Because like and it's kind of true in the sense that for that 20 minutes when they clicked, they were unstoppable.
Yeah.
It was just the worry of this Penrith side just been here so many times. Like, what are they going to pull out to get the job done, you know?
Yeah, which is kind of cool. Like,
It's mad. Mad on both ends, to be honest. Like,
Yeah.
I know obviously we lost and it's devastating, but like, just I feel like that grand final, both teams did exactly what they've done all year. Penrith, super like grindy, gritty, tough, hanging in everything. Broncos, just like too talented, too talented, and when they click, it's just impossible to stop. But that's for me personally, like that's the moment that I feel like this Penrith team etched themselves. Like that, obviously the back-to-back etched themselves in history, but truly like one of the great moments, because I think that's what, like for example, a guy like Thurston, like obviously he's an immortal. He had the early win in his year with the Bulldogs, but I reckon what clinched And you can actually, Ray Warren says it in the commentary, but I reckon what clinched his immortality was winning that big moment against the Broncos. He could have had 2 conservative grand final wins in his career, or he could have had that moment against the Broncos. And I think that moment against the Broncos clinches it more than 2 premierships, if you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, for sure.
Because it's like a great moment that you owned. And that's what made Cleary so great in that moment. It's he and Moses and Fish when they come on the field, and Critter with the grubber. I mean, everyone really.
Yeah.
Crazy moment. So this final series going into it, like how do you, as a squad, you've got, I would say a little bit less pressure than last year, because like last year you were flying, everything's going well. You've got some people that are like, oh, I just don't think they can do it a 5th time, which is crazy. But like, what does Ivan say to the playing group to get you in the right mindset to win another premiership, you know?
I feel like Ivan's pretty level-headed, and he's not really like pushing anything specific in the sense of, we got to do this to win the grand final. He's just more just keeping everybody grounded in the sense of, like, we know it's a whole new comp starts for the next 4 weeks. So it's just about what we can do to be good, like be our best team for those 4 weeks, and each week as it comes. Like, obviously, I've been seeing a bit of stuff about easiest road and easiest, but like, there's no easy road in the finals, man. Like, every team has it tough, and some have to do it a different way to others. But obviously, this year it's you got to go 4 in a row.
What about when you was losing a lot of games at the start of the season? What was Ivan saying to keep the boys' heads screwed on? Because I'm sure people were looking around going, "What the fuck is going on here, bro?"
Yeah, I think there was definitely like a bit of uncertainty, and I wouldn't say there was a disbelief, like, because that wasn't it at all. It was actually quite the opposite. There was a lot of chat around. This isn't our season. Like, this is, as in, our season isn't losing and missing the 8. Like, we're a side who can win, and it was more just about what can we do. Right, we didn't want to focus on what was the future. Like, what was around 12 was we get dusted by Knights. Round 11 or 12 we get dusted by Knights, and then we have to head over to NZ to versus Warriors.
Without all your players too.
Yeah. So like, it was more just a week to week and see what happens. Like, we just take each week as it comes, and if it works, it works. But it was more just obviously fixing up a few things and changing a few standards, a few different things at training.
Yeah, okay.
To how it works and how we can be better as a team and as a squad as such.
Now, as a winger, what is it like watching Toto do what he does? Because it's a joke. How he's still doing that shit 5-6 years in is actually insane. Like, does he train harder than everyone else? Like, what is it?
It's sickening, bro. Yeah, I obviously try and speak to Bizzo a fair bit. I just get a few different things off him. We're such different body types. Yeah, like, he's very low to the ground, very, very strong based, and I don't know. I think it's his Coke Zeros, to be fair. I know he loves his Coke Zeros of a captain's run, and it's actually no joke when he drinks them, because it makes me sick. But it's actually sickening how many he drinks, but it works for him. So I'm not going to be telling him to stop it,
bro.
He's definitely one of those players that works hard on his craft, and he understands his job and his role, and he knows what he's good at. I think that's what the biggest thing is. He sticks to what he's good at. Yeah. Yeah, he's one of those players where you just, no matter how good you think he is, he'll always do something to surprise you how much better he can get.
So, second Brad Fittler medal, like, it's, as a winger, it's just insane, bro.
Insane, man.
Mate, quickly, take us back to a young fella. Whereabouts did you grow up in the country? Playing footy in that.
So, I grew up in a town called Boorowa. It's about, say, 3.5 hours southwest of here. Okay. Down near Yass. Okay. So more towards Canberra. So it's about an hour inland from Canberra. Okay. Not many people, probably 2,500 people when I grew up. Wow. So that's a tiny, tiny town. Yeah. Mum, she owns a supermarket down there. There's only one supermarket. About 4 or 5 pubs, and a lot of farming, a lot of hard working people down there, which is cool. Yep. So I grew up there as a young kid before I headed over to high school in Young, which is just a town across.
Yeah.
Head from there, obviously, Angus Crichton.
Yeah.
Went to school over there. That was pretty new. Didn't know many people.
So how long of a drive is that school from where you live?
It's only about, say half an hour to 40 minutes.
Yeah, okay. Not too bad.
Which is crazy to think, but that will get you, it's about 45 Ks away. So like, yeah, it's not that far back there.
Yeah.
Because it's just all farms.
It's like in Sydney, that's about a 3-hour drive.
Yeah, it's not really like, it's not actually houses and bulk
traffic in that.
Yeah,
it's just like an open road.
It's just roads. There's no traffic lights in Burra.
No way.
There's just one roundabout, no traffic lights.
Oh, really?
Which is like crazy to think, coming from there. But like, I love Burra, man. Like, it's such a cool town, and going over to Young was awesome. It's obviously a bit bigger, high school over there. A lot of people come from different towns to go into there. I played footy as a young kid. I'd sort of given up in 5 and 6, and then picked it back up when I went to high school.
Yeah,
I just played in the local comp in Young, Group 9. I just played for the Cherry Pickers.
Okay,
always good. So,
what colours are Cherry Pickers jersey?
Red, white, and blue.
Okay,
yeah. So that was cool. I had such a good group of mates down there, and we just all played footy. And I was at the Catholic school, and then there was a high school, but there was boys that played in the high school as well, and they were awesome as well. We had a mad bunch of boys, and won a few comps and enjoyed it down there. Footy didn't eventuate realistically in how I would have expected it, but I think it's a lot different to being in the city. In the city, a lot of exposure. Don't get me wrong, it's not easier in the city because you've got a lot more competition, but I just don't think there's as much exposure in the country as people think. And if you don't get noticed by, say, the Raiders, then you probably have to come down to Sydney and trial, and that's just something I just didn't think was possible. I didn't really look at it as like this is what I will do. Okay. I always wanted to play NRL as a person, but I didn't think it was something that was
seemed a bit too far away.
Within reach, it seemed a bit too far away.
Yeah, okay.
Tried for Raiders, didn't get picked up. A few of my other mates did, which was so cool at the time because it was pretty rare to get picked up. And then I had played a comp, and I played for the Bidgie Bulls, which was like basically like a feeder club to your Raiders, Illawarra, and like Western Rams, it's feeder club to Penrith. You verse them teams, and very hot summer days, 6-hour days of training in the summer on every second Sunday, which like now I look at it and go, I thought it was so bad, but at the time, like I was just like, oh my God, this is so hard. Trained there, played, got lucky enough. I played fullback in that comp, got selected to go to New Zealand, played over in NZ, which was mad, like such a cool experience. Matty Burton, Charlie Staines there too that I definitely remember. They were in the 18s, they were in the year above. Yeah, okay. Liam Henry, he was actually, no, he wasn't in my 16s. He ended up being in the 18s. So we do that, go over, that's when Burton Staines get picked up by Penrith. So I didn't get picked up. So I was like, oh, sweet, like I was just happy to go and play and play local footy and then move on with life and go to uni and go a different path. Yep. Now the next year comes around. I did play it. Yeah, I played it. The next year I was 17. I wasn't gonna. I turned it down. I actually said I didn't really want to play. Simply because, as you know, milky and white skin, and it was just summer days where I didn't want to be in 45-degree heat in the country. So selfishly, I just was like, I just want to do my own thing and enjoy time. Had the summer. It was leading into summer. I didn't do the training. The coach called me, Bernie Delaney. I still talk to him to this day. He calls me and said, hey, I'd like you to come and play. And I just like thanked him and appreciate it, but I turned it down and just said like, it's just not for me, man. Like I just want to move on with life.
Is this play country or play? Were you in
play for
Penrith?
Bidgie Bulls?
Okay, yep.
So play for Bidgie Bulls. So I'd said no, didn't want to do it. I just wanted to just enjoy time because I knew I'd obviously probably be leaving the year after. I still remember the call. I called him as I was on my way to mum's shop. Walk into mum's shop, my older sister, mum was sitting there. And I just laughed and said, "Oh, you wouldn't believe it. Bernie Delaney called me. He wants me to come play Bulls." And they go, "Oh, that's so cool. Like, when do you play?" And I was just like, "Oh, no." I said no. And they were filthy. And they're someone like, "What do you do? What do you mean? Like, why don't you just give it a go?" And I'm like, "I don't want to." And we got in this like half argument, and I'll end up leaving and storming out like a big sook. And my sister just messaged me and goes, "Why don't you just have one game, and if you don't like it, don't play?"
Yep.
I was like, "Righto." So called Bernie. I said, "I'm going to come play." But I said, I don't want to put an expectation that like this is something I'm going to fully do. I said, and he goes, "Oh, like I want you to commit," but I think he probably knew once I played I would commit to it. But he said, "If you come play and do it," he said, and one of my mates was playing fullback at the time, and I'd played fullback the year before, and I said, "Oh, can I play centre?" And he said, "Yeah, come play centre and we'll go from there." Go play centre. I played a game in Young, which was close, laughing. Enjoyed it, as I can imagine. And then he said, "Oh, we're playing Penrith next week." And I was just like, "Oh, yeah, righto." I was like, "Yeah, I'll come down." Yeah. Excited just because I got to play footy. Yeah. Jimmy Jones came into the sheds as I was getting strapped and said to Bernie, "Who am I here to watch?" And he said it right, and he goes, "This one," and then he named a few of the other boys. Yep. And I'm just like, this is weird. Why is he doing this? Yeah. And then after the gameplay, end up getting a call from, I got a message, from a management company. I wasn't signed with a manager, and said, "I've got a team interested in you. We'd like to sign you." But I'd obviously been in talks with a sort of country manager, the one, Andrew. Yep. So I ended up signing with him, and luckily the management company that messaged me, all respects to them, they were like so good. They sent Penrith to Purcell.
That's really nice.
Massively.
Do you know what company that is?
It was Ultra Management Sports.
That's
I'm
good.
pretty sure
really
it was them. Yeah, they messaged me.
Yeah.
Then obviously signed with Purcell, and I come down, and I was on a school excursion in Sydney, come out and see Penrith, end up signing with Penrith, which is so cool. I ended up playing out that that's like comp as such with Bidgie Bulls. So awesome, such a fun experience. So many mates that like come out of that. And this is, I spoke to you about choosing partying over opportunity. I got a call from the country coach, and he'd got wind that I wasn't going to play the weekend of the final game. We'd end up getting beaten previous, couldn't make finals, and I selfishly was like, I'm not playing. Like, and it was my birthday weekend, 18th birthday. Had a big party planned, and I said, I don't know if I will. So selfish. I look back on it now, and he said, you just get on the bus, like, just get on the bus and come play. And I didn't go. I ended up staying home. Country team comes out, not in it, and I was like, sweet. Like, I was like, obviously, I had Penrith by then, and I was going down to Penrith in November, and the country tour was over this period of November, 2 weeks, and then all well and good, it all ends there, and I end up moving to Penrith and moving to the house, and two of the boys that I live with at the house, Liam Henry, another boy, Mac Atkins, they went on the country tour. Oh, okay. And they were obviously, it all eventuated, and they ended up saying like, "Oh, you'll probably, like, you're going to get picked in the side." And I think that was one of those things where I'm like, I just made a dumb decision as a young kid. And, I look back now and think it would have been so cool to go to England, and such a great opportunity that I missed out on, but I deserved to miss out on it because I didn't have my priorities right. Yeah. Different learnings.
It's so tough because when you're that age, bro, you're not thinking properly. Yeah. You're just not. Like, and you know, I don't want to make it about me. I know people don't like it, but I'll give you a similar story. Yeah. So growing up, like not obviously, but I was good at athletics. So I'd won state titles, national titles, all that kind of stuff. But I didn't like. I kind of enjoyed it, but I loved soccer way, way more. Anyway, so in grade 10, I rocked up to regional. So just the one before state. But I'd already made like state since you could possibly make state. Like as many times as you could, I'd already made it to that point, year 10. So it wasn't a big deal or whatever. And again, I know that sounds like a wanker. I'm sorry. It's just what happened. Anyway, so I rock up in the heat for the 100 metres. I run 10.7, which not only qualifies you for state automatically, it qualifies you for nationals automatically because the time is so quick. Anyway, the next day I wake up because what I was doing, I was riding my bike to school and then catching the bus to the athletics. Yeah. The next day I wake up and I was just like, nah, fuck it. Just didn't turn up to the finals, didn't even go. But I look back and I'm like, what the fuck? Like, what is wrong with you, bro? Like, you qualified for nationals in year 10 with the fastest time in the state, automatic, all this kind of stuff, and you didn't even, like, I would have gone to the finals and won handedly. Yeah. Would have gone to, and I was already qualified for nationals, so it almost didn't matter what happened at state. Yeah. But because I was just a young, dumb idiot whose dad's working 60 hours a week, so he's not locked into what I'm doing because he's never at home because he's working all the time to provide for us because we've got no money. Mum's working all the time too. So I just woke up and was just like, nah, I couldn't be fucked. Yeah. So dumb, bro. Yeah. So dumb. And selfish. And like, if my son ever did that, I'd be devastated for him. Yeah. And like, that's I'm so fortunate that my dad did sacrifice so much because I will never be in that position where my son is doing things I'm not sure about because I'm working so much. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So I know exactly where you're coming from, where you look back and you're like, it feels like a different person made that decision. When you're like, think about you as a teenager making that decision. You're sitting there going, that's a different like, that's not even me right now. Who is that? But it just happens, bro. Yeah. I look at it now and I go, like, you selfish little shit. Like, you're so spoiled. And your parents work their asses off to give you these opportunities and you're just like, fuck it.
Because I was just like, what am I going to do? But like, before the Penrith trial and before all that, I'd actually sat down with my year coordinator and sort of just gone through career options and what I was going to do post school and how I was going to go about it. Because I literally said, well, I'm not going to make it in footy, so I might as well do something. And she was really good. She just was like, let's look into getting you into uni. What do you want to do? Got lucky, got into Macquarie. I was just doing like a Bachelor of Commerce or something, which is like so cool. And I ended up getting accepted there. So I was already moving to Sydney. But when Penrith called, they told my manager, and my manager rang me, and I said no. I was like, I go, Penrith. I go, I'm not moving there. Like, I was like, I can't move to Penrith. And he was like, why? And the boys will crack up at this because I've told this story to them before. But I'm not joking when I say, if I moved to Penrith, I couldn't walk down the main street without like getting stabbed or something like that. It's just like, I look at it now and I go, what are you talking about, you idiot? But being a young country kid,
you don't know.
All I heard was bad. But like, Penrith's nothing like that. Like, you walk down the street and people will say good day to you, and
like, you got your tough pockets, but it's not the main street of Penrith that's the tough pocket.
No,
you know?
not at all. Like, but I think there's tough pockets everywhere. And,
of course, especially the Gold Coast where I grew up. Yeah,
and I'm just like, I was so lucky in that sense of I had a manager and I had a family to push me towards doing it, and I ended up signing the deal. So lucky, come down here. Had absolutely no clue, and when I say I had no clue, I mean like, I didn't know there was a New South Wales Cup side. I didn't know what top 30 was. I didn't know what development was. Yeah, I was just like happy to play 20s. I didn't even realise, I was like unsure about what that was at the time. Yeah, wow. So I come down here just raw as you could get. Yeah, but it was sick.
It's funny, we spoke about it before the show, but like, it all really depends what family you're raised in. Like, if your old man or your mum has an idea of how sport works, they can say to you like, this is 20s, this is top 30. Yeah. This is what you need to do. If a manager comes, if there's 3 clubs interested in you, that's a big deal. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, all those little bits of information, like my old man, I'm not sure whether it was your mother or your father or whatever, but like my old man, again, he was working so hard. He didn't have time to know what was going on he just basically, like, pretty much with my old man, Queensland Raw would ring up and say, we want your son to come and play for us because we lived on the Gold Coast. And my old man was just like, all right, I'll do it. So he would drive from Brisbane because he worked an hour away. So I lived on the Gold Coast. Brisbane's an hour away, probably an hour and 20 back then.
Yeah.
He would work all day. So he'd leave home at about 4:30 a.m. He'd work all day to about 4. He would drive from back from Brisbane. So an hour and a bit there, an hour and a bit back. Then Queensland Roar was in Brisbane. So he would drive me all the way back up to Brisbane, sit in the car while I trained, and then he'd be falling asleep at the wheel by the time we got into our driveway.
Insane, hey?
But he had no idea. Like he just knew his son was good at sport.
Yeah.
And in his mind, because he's an ethical person, he just thought, well, if he trains hard and he's good at it, that's all that matters in sport. When obviously, you need to know people. You need to it does matter if you're really good and you train hard, but it helps to another example is if my dad knew about if I was my dad right now, my son was playing NRL. And the Brisbane Broncos were offering him, he was playing first grade for the Brisbane Broncos. And they said, you're the third best ringer at the club. We've got a minimum wage for you, but we like you. We want you, and you're 20 years old. I would say to and then New Zealand Warriors came involved. I would say to my son, bro, you're not going to New Zealand. You're 20 years old. You don't know anything about league. You're not going to New Zealand. You're staying at the Brisbane Broncos, the best club in the competition. But because I didn't have that, I had a manager saying to me, you need to take this Warrior. Little things like that. That's knowledge that matters when it comes to sport,
Massively. I think, don't get me wrong, mum and dad are so good and the love I have for them is an insane amount.
Yeah.
They didn't understand the whole concept of professional sport. And
how would they?
And they are two very hard-working people, and they always have worked hard. When Penrith came knocking, they were just like, what? What do we do? And I think they struggle with it now in a sense. They've gotten better, definitely. Mum definitely struggles with naturally you're going to see comments and you're going to see articles and different things like that. And Mum struggled with it last year massively. Newcastle fans, obviously, they're a big supporter base and they are very passionate supporters. But they're ruthless. They'd just be peppering me, and Mum would just be rattled as and message me, mate, be like, "Are you all right?" Like this, and I'm just like, "Oh, I don't really see it, so I'm not really fussed about it." But she would be seeing it, and she'd be concerned, and she'd end up getting all rattled, and then it would end up rattling me because I'm worried about her. And,
yeah.
But I think it's, I don't know. Mum and dad are good in the sense I'm kind of glad that they don't understand it now.
Because you can get away from it then too,
They can get away from it.
You're not rocking home talking footy the whole time. You've got all these other things. It's funny. You don't realise it till you have a kid. Just to show you that I understand how your mum was feeling. Whereas if you had this conversation 2 or 3 years ago, I'd be like, I don't know what it's like to have a kid.
Yeah.
The other day, so fucking cringe. I was playing with my son and I just had this moment of oh fuck. He's not always going to be my little boy, but he's always my little boy.
Yeah.
And for you in that situation, you're always going to be your mum's little boy. No matter how good you get at rugby league, no matter how many heights you reach, you'll always be a little boy. And I got so rattled, bro, nearly in tears just from this moment. I messaged my mum and I was like, just so you know, I'll always be a little boy. Yeah. I was so fucking rattled from
what was her response? Was she just going, what are you talking about?
What are you talking about? She was like, what the fuck? This is so weird. You never talk about your emotions then. What's going on right now? But it's just that father-son or, mother-son relationship that you don't know it until you got it. It's just a different thing. So if you're leaving a negative comment, remember families read that shit. Yeah,
I know, man. Which is I think that's the most thing that affects people the most. You naturally as a footy player, you're going to get DMs and you're going to get bad ones. I'm lucky. I obviously I've received a few, but I haven't received as many as some of the other boys. But
it just being like Nathan after Origin.
Yeah, bro. It does frustrate me. Especially fathers. I think I go on, if I see their profile and they've got kids, and that just pisses me off.
Oh, it makes me so furious.
How do you how would you feel if your son was in this position and someone's telling him, do this to yourself or
kill yourself, you're the worst in the world.
That just pisses me off to the max, because I'm like, I get it, bro. Your multi didn't hit, or you're angry about. You're a passionate fan, sweet, but you have a good 30 seconds to decide what you're going to do by looking up the person's name, typing the message, and then sending the message. Yeah. Bro, if you're wishing harm on anybody else, I just think you need to take a long, hard look at yourself. I can get it emotions and passion and stuff like that. But I just don't think that's the answer. And I can't imagine when you look back at it in a few years' time, or if it happens to your son, you'll think, oh, I used to do this. Like, you'd probably feel pretty shit about yourself.
Or ask yourself, if your son found out you were doing this, would you be embarrassed?
Yeah.
You probably would be embarrassed.
Yeah, 100%.
And like the thing, I always say this on my show, because there's this idea that like, oh, stop being so soft or whatever. And I say this all the time on my show, guys, league players have no issue with people being respectfully critical of them. Because guess what? They walk in on Monday, every single Monday, and get ripped to shreds. Like no one's harder on a player than themselves. So you saying, Cleary, he had a great year, but it didn't work for him in Origin. I think he needs to improve on this and this. Cleary would just be like, yeah, fair, that's his opinion, that's respectable. It's the fucking kill yourself, or your missus is this, or your son's that's the stuff that players are like, bruh, like what's wrong with you kind of thing.
Yeah. Like, I think that's like, don't get me wrong, like you said, like fans' opinions do matter, and everyone's entitled to their own opinion, which is cool. I think that's a good part of footy, and I understand
why you get paid so much.
Yeah, really I understand that everyone's going to have their opinion, man. Like it's just the negative parts of if you're gonna wish harm and wish bad things upon other people. I think that's where you need to take a look at yourself and understand that maybe I shouldn't be sending this message.
And that's why I had so much admiration for Nathan Cleary after this Origin, like the way he handled that, how honest he was with it. He didn't shy away from it. Like that, what's made me such a big fan of Cleary is like, obviously his playing ability is unbelievable. But I tell these to people all the time. The first year after they lost the grand final to the Melbourne Storm, he came on the potty. Whether he wins a premiership, lose a premiership, whether he wins Origin or loses Origin, he's exactly the same. At least in my involvement with him, he's always been exactly the same. And that's why I think he's a champion. He's one of the greats, because his ability to, whether he wins or loses, turn up is almost second to none.
Yeah, he's insane. Hey? Like he's just one of those people where I can imagine, and I wouldn't even want to see the messages he gets and the criticism he goes through and stuff like that. He does have a really good support base, and he's got a really good way of dealing with it, and how he goes about his business, which is pretty admirable, man. Like he's probably one of the most people. What's the word for it? He's probably one of those people. He's got the biggest profile, and he's probably under the most spotlight of people criticising his game. So I can understand it, man. Like that, fans are a big part of the game, and their opinions are very valid in different scenarios.
It's just the wild stuff.
It's just it's the shit like I was just talking about.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
Now,
mate, before we wrap it up, tell us about your debut. Your debut for the Penrith Panthers, 2022. So you guys just won the comp against the Rabbitohs, I think, 21.
Yeah.
Rabbitoh fan. That's how I was so quick on it. Mate, how'd your debut come about?
Okay, so round 20, I think it was round 20, it was the last round of the season. Ivan decides he's going to rest a majority of the squad, which was like understandable. They'd sort of locked up their final spot, and the boys were in need of a bit of a rest.
Yep.
So he rests a good majority of them. I think we played on like a Saturday maybe. Tuesday comes around, we train, and then we're going to fly out or something, and that's when he tells the squad that day this is what it's going to be, and the boys were going to debut. So it was a kind of cool week to lead into it, and there was a lot of excitement, a lot of emotion. I remember telling mum and telling my sister and the rest of my family, which was so sick. I think every kid dreams of debuting and how it's going to come about. Mine's probably one of those ones where, I don't know, maybe he had to play me in the sense of that he didn't have anybody else.
But you're at a premiership winning club, man. Making those squads is a fucking almost a debut in itself.
It was just, I was just more so grateful. Obviously, it felt like everything that I'd trained for and played for sort of was coming into fruition, and it ended up working out, and we go up to Townsville, and we were leading the cup comp. Like if you look at our cup side in that year, like insane.
Yeah.
So Cowboys were second on the ladder. Penrith were first. We went into that game fully convinced that our cup side was going to go knock off Cowboys, number 2 in the NRL.
What?
Like
I love
fully
that. That's
convinced,
mad.
which like, and that's no disrespect to Cowboys because
Not at all.
they were a gun side. Like, but there was just so much belief and so much confidence around like how good our squad was and how like how well we were going. And
Well, you just come off
what we
2
could
grand
do.
finals and 1 premiership, like,
Yeah.
and you just finished on top again. You know?
Yeah. So our cup side was like flying at that time, and we go up there and we end up getting smoked. So, mind you, that belief just disappeared. But
Mate, it shows you the difference between NRL and cup.
it does. It
Yeah.
does.
Yeah.
But it was so cool. I ended up playing centre. I had Tito outside me on the wing, and we're up against Peter Hiku and Cole Felt.
Wow.
That's a big combo to
Yeah,
go up
bloody
against.
oath.
2 young kids.
Yeah,
And they
yeah.
were peppering us too.
Yeah, really.
Proper
Were they
peppering us.
chatting?
Yeah. They were peppering us.
Wow.
Which like, I look at it now and I crack up because after the game, they were so respectful and
Yeah,
so
yeah,
nice.
yeah.
But it was just part of life, and that's
Yep.
the old dogs giving it to the young ones.
Yep.
So which was kind of sick as well.
Mate, I'm
They-
with you.
they end up
I
getting
tell the
over
story
it.
all the time. I was there for Wendell Saylor's comeback game into NRL for the Dragons, and he was the opposite winger. Bro, I've never been chewed apart in all my life. And I was sitting there smiling the whole time.
I know.
Because I was like, that's Wendell Saylor, and he knows my name. That's actually insane.
How cool.
And funnily enough, like, so he kept on saying, oh, you're not playing soccer now, bro. Like, I dare you to take me on the outside, trying to get in my head because I was smaller and quicker than him.
Yeah.
And it's like, I dare you, I'll throw you in the third row, just all this chat, not playing soccer, rah, rah. So I was smiling the whole time, just like, bruh, that's Wendell Saylor, like arguably the greatest winger of all time.
Yeah.
Anyway, so years later, we sat down. I reminded him, I was like, bruh, your first game back, you gave it to me. And this was in 2008. So I was like, leading the NRL tries to like, I was one of the best wingers in the comp in that year specifically, obviously not long term. And he said to me, he goes, bro, you never believe this, but you smiling back at me was pissing me off so much. It was making me so mad because I thought you were such an arrogant little shit. And I was like, bro, I was just stoked that Wendell Saylor knew who I was.
Yeah. Which is kind of cool in that, like, you see different players, and you being a young kid, I didn't really see NRL players until I come down to Penrith.
Yeah, yeah.
Like come down to the city.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
it's kind of cool. The city boy, like city kids will get to see NRL players pretty often, but I didn't get to see them when I was a country kid. So, but I still look now. And I walk in the sheds. This is like a bit like weird, but like it's like this is cool. This is life, and
Yep.
you get to play with the likes of Nathan Cleary and Isaiah Yeo and all the different ones that are in the squad. Like I'll be able to tell my kids and be like I was
there.
around these boys
Yeah.
every day. Like this was life.
Yep.
Which is kind of cool. And
Mate, it's
like I
fucking
said,
super cool.
you go up against some oppositions, and you just respect them.
Yeah.
And you just think like it's a crazy world we live in, man. You
Yeah.
grow up admiring these people, and you would never expect it, but one day you're playing against them or playing with them.
Bro, I remember looking across at Wendell Saylor and I couldn't believe how big he was. Like, I was just like, bro, I swear to God, you were a relatively tall, skinny-ish winger. And then he ran on, and I was just like, he would have been 110 kilos minimum. 110 kilos minimum. The only other guy where I was like, was Manu Vadavai, where I was just like, oh my
monster.
God, bro, this sucks, bro. This sucks.
Bro,
He's so big.
I seen Willie Mason the other day for the first time.
Bro, he's so big, eh?
Oh my goodness. I shook his hand. I swear to God, it nearly went around my whole hand.
Bro,
I
he's
was
so
like,
big.
he's a monster. I couldn't believe. Like, I knew he's obviously like big, but he's he's big.
Like,
I was
you think, bro, people used to have to tackle you, bro.
Yeah, I know.
It's craziness. Crazy.
couldn't believe. Like, far out.
Mate, I ask all the boys this. Favourite rapper of all time? Or favourite musician if you're not a rap man?
Ooh, that's a tough one. I don't know. I'm a big Drake fan. Would you say he's
Drizzy, you're a
rapper?
drizzler.
Yeah, I don't know. I like him. His new
Okay.
album's pretty cool. I reckon.
Okay.
He's pretty cruisy. I reckon he's got all different types.
Of different sounds kind of thing?
Yeah, I reckon.
'Cause he
He's
steals it
cool.
all. But yeah, sweet, no worries about it. No, trust me, I'm a Drake hater. So like,
Really?
Yeah. Look,
Who's yours?
I'm not a, like, he makes good pop music.
Yeah.
Bro, he doesn't write his own raps, which is fine, but you can't say you're a mad rapper if you don't write your own raps. Like, he writes some of them. So he makes decent music. I don't think he's made good music in about 5 years. I reckon everything from the demo lanes back with Scorpion is like pretty like like gun.
Yeah.
Like even like Scorpion, probably like a 7.5, 8 out of 10 with some gun songs in it. But everything out, like If You're Reading This Is Too Late, Nothing Was the Same. Take Care is a classic in my opinion. Now, granted, did he take half of The Weeknd's first album? Potentially, yes. But so like everything before 2020, it's just when he turned into this fake gangster where I was just like, bro, just stop, please, bro. Can you just be a mad singer and a mad rapper? But anyway, I'm deep in the game. Trust me, I'm deep in the game.
See, I'm not like...
You don't know that stuff.
No. Honestly, I'm not... I don't mind music. Like, I love listening to music.
Yep.
But like, I'm not massively into it where I'm like you just read off half of his albums and I'm like, I know him. But if you had asked me his albums...
Wouldn't have known him?
No.
See, I grew up like loving hip-hop culture.
Yeah, that's cool.
So like that's all I had growing up was hip-hop culture. R&B and hip-hop was everything I listened to. I didn't listen to rock. I didn't listen to any of that stuff. It was all R&B and hip-hop. My first ever CD that I bought was Tupac Greatest Hits. And it was a burnt version of it in grade 6. So I had a Tupac album in grade 6. This young white Aussie Australian.
Grade 6 is crazy.
Grade 6, bro. What's doing there? So I've always been obviously a big fan of it. He's a big Eminem fan. As I said, look, I do like Drake's music. Most of it lately has not been great, but he's got some absolute classics. But in regards to like rapping now, geez, who would I say is like the current guy? Like Eminem's obviously past his prime, but you know, is he one of them? Rapping now, I mean, what's funny is like I actually like Drake's from 2020 backwards. I actually like listening to Drake's music more than Kendrick's music, Kendrick Lamar. Yeah. Even though I understand the artistry of the Kendrick music is substantially better than the artistry of Drake. However, in the last couple of years, like GNX and Mr. Morale and Big Steppers, which is 2 of Kendrick albums, I actually really like those albums. So it's probably, I'll say Kendrick probably is at the moment. Yeah. Favorite movie of all time?
Oh, my missus will crack up at this one. Bro, Good Will Hunting.
Goated.
Oh my goodness gracious. It just come on Netflix. It got taken off Stan. I was filthy.
Yeah.
Come on Netflix the other day. It was the first thing she messaged me and said, you would not believe what's on it. And it was that. I could watch it every single day.
Right. When he has that moment, spoiler alert, even though it's like fucking 30 years old or whatever, when he has that moment where Matt Damon's needling him, like just, you can tell he's a young, arrogant, just a smart guy that doesn't actually know about life. And when he pulls him up and I think he's talking to the painting or whatever, and he just hits Damon with like, you don't know fucking anything about life or love. Like you've never been with your wife while she's terminally ill. And like, bro, that scene is just like, bro, what
so good, bro. I feel like he plays that role so well as like.
Oh, mate, perfect.
I don't know.
It sucks he's gone.
I could not believe it when like I obviously first watched it and it's a bit older and I'm not a massive older films person.
Yep.
But it was like one where I watched it and I said, I could watch this every single day.
Really?
Every time I watch it, my missus laughs and says, you'll fall asleep.
Yeah.
But if I put it on, I'll watch it to the very end.
So do you like that style of music of like that style of movie where it's like a young person that, you know, is talented but is a bit off the rails? Is that what you enjoy about it as a movie?
I just think, I don't know, like I just like the whole concept behind it of what he's doing and I feel like he, not to get too deep into it, but like he's someone who he comes from nothing and he's probably taking it for advantage. Like he's taking it for granted,
Yeah.
And he's just like, fuck this, I'm not leaving. Like why would I want to leave? Like why would I want to go be with them rich pricks kind of thing? Yeah. But then his childhood mate obviously tells him like, I hope every day I walk up to your door and you're not there.
You better not be there, yeah.
Because he's like, any one of them would give the gift that you have to get out of there. Yeah, he's just not taking. He's like taking the piss with it. Good. He said like it's not a disrespect to yourself, it's a disrespect to us. It is, which is like mad. Like,
it's true.
So
and also the scene. How do you like them apples? Goated scene.
Oh my goodness,
goated scene,
bro! When he starts rattling off the book, and then he just cuts the guy off. That's sick as well.
Well, if you like that style of movie, try Antoine Fisher.
Good.
Antoine Fisher. Similar concept. It's got Sean Connery in it. It's a good movie. If you like that style of movie, it's similar to that. It's not as good as Good Will Hunting, but it's pretty good.
I'll have to go watch it.
Mate, thanks so much for coming on. I appreciate it. Look, I hope you boys go well in the finals, but not so well that the Broncos don't win the premiership. So I'll just say it that much. But mate, been awesome hearing your story, and congratulations on an incredible year.